Audio on demand from Vision Christian Media.
Exploring faith and the future. Neil Johnson and Bible teacher Dr. Kameel Majdali.
We've started to unpack one of those important verses in the book of Hebrews in the New Testament. Hebrews chapter 2 and verse 3, and it starts off, "How shall we escape if we neglect so great a salvation?" Kameel, why is this salvation we talk about so great?
You know, I think, Neil, it takes a lifetime, maybe even an eternity, to appreciate how great salvation in Christ is. Just from the most fundamental point of view, we are redeemed from death and hell, right? We are redeemed from death and hell. If we consider the nature of death and hell, and let's face it, most people don't even think about these things. They spend more time thinking about how to spend 4 weeks of annual leave than about eternity, which has the option of death and hell. But if we consider it, let me put it this way, the notions that we have in our head, which are bad enough, pale into insignificance to what is the actual reality. Death, in its fullest extent, being separated from the source of life, separated from God, separated from His goodness, that would be a terrible, terrible prospect, especially for us because we've tasted and seen that the Lord is good. And then a place of punishment that is beyond any description. It was not prepared for people. It was prepared for the devil and his demons. To be in a place like that, again, is staggering. So to think that Jesus took the hit for us, He went through the most excruciating death, rejection, estrangement, reproach you could imagine, so that we would not need to experience these things. That in itself is just the beginning of the appreciation of how great the salvation is. But I even go further. I believe it's not just a one-dimensional thing. I believe it's multifaceted, the salvation that Christ gives us.
Kameel, this word in the verse, escape, enlarge on that for us for a few moments, because escaping from what?
Well, again, it's escaping from, I believe, the righteous wrath of God. Now, there's the wrath of people. They get in a hissy fit. They're like Nebuchadnezzar. They don't like the answer they hear, fly into a rage, and overreact and do great damage for something that wasn't that big of a deal. That's not how God works. God is loving. He is kind. He is infinitely patient. In fact, the old verse or old word for that is long-suffering, which basically means God puts up with a lot because He loves, He cares, He endures. But there is a point of time where justice must be meted out, because without justice, our whole world would be dysfunctional and off balance. I mean, in one sense, it already is, and God is fixing it, but to fully fix it, He must have justice. When we talk about this, what are we escaping from? It basically says earlier in Hebrews 2:2, "For if the word spoken through angels proved steadfast, and every transgression and disobedience received a just reward." The just reward for transgression and disobedience, of course, is divine punishment. Whether it's a chastisement or whether it's the final thing like hell itself, it doesn't say here, but you can pretty much use your own imagination. We're told it's an awesome thing, a terrifying thing to fall into the hands of the living God. That's when He is the judge. We pass from judgment when we are in Christ.
Faith and the future with Neil Johnson and Dr. Kameel Majdali from Teach All Nations. Find articles, videos and podcasts from Dr. Kameel, plus today's and other episodes of Faith in the Future in the Vision app or at vision.org.au.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.